September the 11th, what we had was an event which we were told changed the world. Ooh, and what a dastardly deed it was. Now I agree and believe that that act of terrorism on September the 11th must be condemned in the strongest terms. No one can condone the deaths of over 3,000 innocent civilians. It must be condemned. However, when 3,000 people died in America, the world wept with America. The world shed tears for America. The world kept a 3-minute silence for America. Everyone was torn up about the deaths of 3,000 civilians in America. My argument is this: let our emotions be consistent. If we are going to weep for 3,000 Americans or innocent civilians who died in America, then we must also weep for 500,000 children who have died at the hands of American terrorism in Iraq. We must also weep for the thousands of innocent Palestinian men, women and children who are dying every day in Palestine at the hands of American terrorism. That's not true. Let me make this clear. That's not true. Don't be dismayed. This black man is simply looking for a visa to America. Look at it. I'm going further. America is the greatest and most evil terrorist nation on earth. Bar none. Bar none. The threat to world stability does not lie with Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. The biggest threat to world stability is right there in the White House, and his name is George Bush Jr. Syria is a puppet. Look at it. How is it America can approach this war on terrorism? What is terrorism? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you touch it? Can you fuck it? No! Terrorism is an idea. Why didn't America wage a war on something which afflicts all of us? Like a war on poverty. No. Or a war on racism. Yeah. But oh no! Yes. Oh no! America left that fester for over 400 years and now talks about a war on terrorism. No. And America is the greatest terrorist nation on earth. No nation on earth has invaded and colonized more countries than America. That's true. That's America talks about terrorism. That's true. September the 11th. But look at the bombs they dropped in Afghanistan. What about the innocent civilians who died? Instead, when they kill innocent non-white civilians, they have all these euphemisms they use. Collateral damage. Collateral damage. How dare you use the term collateral damage to define the lives of non-white people? Nonsense. Absolute rubbish. America talks about terrorism, talks about September the 11th. What about the innocent victims of terrorism in El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Panama, Grenada, Vietnam, Korea? In fact, it's easy to mention the countries which haven't been victims than to mention the ones that have. The list is too long. America was fighting this war against communism. And what euphemisms did we have then? This war is about freedom and democracy. And now they're talking about this war on terrorism. What is the euphemism they use? Oil! It is against freedom and oil! Of course, my friend, we'll get to it. So what we have here, people talk, oh my friend, I'm going to get to you. People say this war against terrorism is to defeat Islamic fundamentalists. What is Islamic fundamentalism? Is it the Islamic fundamentalism of Iraq they talk about? There is no Islamic fundamentalism in Iraq. Is it the Islamic fundamentalism of Iran? Where was the Islamic fundamentalism in Iran pre-1979? Where was it? American Islamic fundamentalism is another euphemism to just attack Islam. Solely Islam. This is a war. Please, my friend, this is a war. This is a war. Not against Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. This is a war against Islam. And you Muslims. Freedom. My friend, it is about globalization. It is about economic control of the world's resources, not just oil. About all control of all the world's resources. In Africa, we have gold, diamonds, uranium, titanium, cobalt, oil, copper, iron, lead, silver, rice, coffee, cocoa, tea, Naomi Campbell, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson can stand in the middle because he's that black woman. But in Europe, what do you have? Fish and chips and Kellogg's cornflakes. I challenge any European to tell me one raw resource, one mineral that you have in Europe which we need in Africa, Asia and the Middle East. What do you have? White woman. White woman. You need that. Look at the reality. This war is aimed at destabilizing Islam because Islam was the fastest growing religion. I'm not a Muslim, but look at it. We had Jemima growing religion. I'm not a Muslim, but look at it. We had Jemima Khan, one of England's most richest men, marrying a Muslim. Imran Khan in Pakistan, converting to Islam. Then we had Princess Diana. We know she was moving towards Dodi to marry a Muslim. Now, I believe that she was working her way up the color spectrum. She really wanted to marry a black man like me. So she was working her way up. She was Pakistani first, then an Egyptian, next to Jamaican. We will never go. However, can you imagine why they killed Diana? And they did kill Diana. Because you could imagine if Diana had have married a Muslim, it meant that the future king of England's mother would have been a Muslim. That meant when they sit down to Christmas dinner, they'll be talking about Allahu Akbar. Islam was a big threat to the West. They have always been trying to destabilize the Middle East and the Arab world by keeping you Muslims divided. And many of you Muslims are stupid enough to entertain that game of division. Yeah. You divided amongst yourselves. You should be united. Yes. Right now, you're under threat. By Iraq. The Americans talk about this war against terrorism. Hold on. They say a war against terrorism. Let's look where this war of terrorism takes us. It takes us to Iraq. They say Saddam Hussein is a threat. Who else is a terrorist? Osama bin Laden, terrorist. Gaddafi, terrorist. President Khatami, terrorist. Abdullah Öcalan, terrorist. Abu Sayyaf, terrorist. We don't hear them talk about the terrorism of the IRA or the Ba'ath separatists. The war against terrorism is really a war against Islam. Nothing more, nor nothing less. An American congressman stood up in 1989 and said, now that the Cold War is over, our next enemy is Islamic fundamentalism. Look at where all these wars are being fought. Chechnya, Muslim. Bosnia, Croatia, Kosovo, Muslim. Philippines, Malaysia, Muslim. Indonesia, Muslim. These wars have been spawned. Even in China, where there's a large Muslim population, there is fighting going on right now. Because the Americans have agitated the world to be anti-Islamic. There's a wave of Islamophobia spreading around the world to try and destroy Islam. Why? Because Christianity was dysfunctional. Christian people were turning away from Christianity in droves. Christianity lost its spiritual base, but Islam retained its. Now, I'm not a Muslim. I subscribe to no religion. But as an analyst, it is my duty to look and see where the trends lie. The reality is, my friends, if we look at Islam, Islam poses many obstacles to America. Furthermore than just oil. When the Americans were fighting the communists, what was it about? They said it was freedom and democracy. It wasn't freedom and democracy. It was about influence, sphere of control, about capitalism, about being against socialism. That's what it was about. And in Islam, Islam says that you cannot charge interest on a loan. That is in direct confrontation with America. American capitalism and Western capitalism. America is on a mission of colonizing the Middle East, and it will not stop until there is a McDonald's restaurant inside every mosque. They are on that mission. Look at it. This week, they bombed Iraq. The world wasn't even interested. 100 planes. It came as a second phase news. 100 planes took part in a mission to bomb Iraq. Where was the condemnation from the United Nations? Where was it? Where was that damn chicken bone witch Dr. Kofi Annan? Why hasn't Kofi Annan stood up and said what the Americans are doing is unilateral terrorism? Terrorism! But what we have with Kofi Annan is the career diplomat. He is more interested in his career than he is with the interest of the world. And what the Americans do not recognize is, via this action in the Middle East, they could plunge this world into a third world war. They do not recognize it. Why is there a need to get rid of Saddam? Saddam Hussein, my friend, look at it.
Take your Britain now.
Saddam Hussein is no threat to America. In fact, leave alone. Hussein is no threat to America. In fact, Saddam Hussein isn't even a threat to his neighbors. Saudi Arabia has made it clear. We do not consider it a threat. Saddam Hussein. Kuwait is developing relationships with Iraq. What nation, what neighbor does Iraq threaten that the Americans claim we are going there to stop Iraq from bullying his neighbors?
Israel.
Israel. My friend, how can you even call Israel a neighbor? Israel.
It's not a neighbor.
My friend, Israel doesn't even exist. There is only Palestine. No. There is only Palestine. What you call Israel? What you call Israel?
Israel is a state of United States.
Yes.
It's one state of United
Israel
States.
is a piece of land which has been colonized by European Jews.
Exactly.
Europeans. Now, whilst we're on the subject of Israel, we'll get back to Saddam. Are there any Jews here?
Right here.
Right here.
Right here.
I have nothing against Jews. I like Jews, apple juice, pineapple juice. I am anti-Zionist. I have nothing against Jews, but I am anti-Zionist. I do not believe the state of Israel deserves to exist.
But it does.
Now, it does. No problem. So let's discuss it. We are told that Adolf Hitler was one of the world's most wicked and evil tyrants.
He was.
Do you agree, my friend?
No.
Was Hitler wicked?
No.
Yes. Why was he wicked?
Because they're Jewish.
Hold on, my friend, not you. We want to hear from you once you've come over from your side up. Sorry, my friend. What? That is one of the world's biggest lies. Now we know Hitler killed many Jews. Almost 6 million. Hold on, my friend. Hold on. Oh, it's illegal to say that. Then I've just broken the fucking law. And I will continue to break the law, as I have for the last 14 years of speaking sport. My friend, you said 6 million people. That is a lie. Why? Yes, Hitler killed 6 million Jews. But is that why Hitler is the most evil man? Hitler is not the most evil man because he killed 6 million Jews. Hitler is one of the world's most evil men because he killed 6 million white people. If Hitler killed black people, he'd be all right. He'd be a member of the old boys club. He'd be invited to Buckingham Palace to celebrate Queen Mother's birthday. But oh no, Adolf Hitler killed white people and colonized white countries. He conquered France, and the world condemned him. But if it was wrong for Hitler to colonize France, then it was wrong for the French to colonize Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, Senegal, Cameroon, Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Gabon. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade Czechoslovakia, it was wrong for the British to invade Australia. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade Poland, it was wrong for the British to invade the Middle East. If it was wrong for Hitler to invade Russia, it was wrong for Hitler, for the British to invade India. If it was wrong for Hitler to kill 6 million Jews, it was wrong for the Spanish, the Portuguese, and the English to murder an estimated 24 million Native Americans in America.
Yeah, from your nose I know you are.
Weapons of mass destruction.
This is what we are taught.
Why do you shut
Hold on.
Hey, Jew!
So look at it.
Everybody quiet.
So now we're told
The truth is bound.
Israel exists. Israel would not exist if Hitler had not existed.
But it exists.
It is because Hitler...
Ismail.
Oh, my friend.
It's irrelevant. It exists, always exists. Nothing will make it not to
The
exist.
British.
It's only 15
It is
years.
because...
You know what?
My friend, leave him alone.
The whole vanish like
You
this.
don't deserve this. This is a great
My friend,
My
friend, please, leave him alone. Israel would not exist if Adolf Hitler had not been murdering Jews. Now let me go even further. It was not just because Hitler was killing Jews. The French killed Jews. The Hungarians killed Jews. The Russians killed Jews. The Ukrainians killed Jews. The Italians murdered Jews. The British knew about the murders of the Jewish people. The Americans financed the Nazi regime to get Adolf Hitler to power when they were terrified that communism was spreading throughout Europe and Hitler was a staunch anti-communist, so they backed Adolf Hitler. So it is because of Europe's collective guilt why they created the state of Israel as reparations for the Jewish people who were murdered by the Europeans. And before they offered them Israel, where did they offer them? Uganda. Before Israel was established, the British government offered the Zionist movement the right to establish a state in Uganda, in Africa. What right did the British government have to offer the Zionist movement a land in Africa? They had no right. And what right did the British government have to offer the land of Palestine to the Jewish people? They had no right. It was illegal. And now, we today are the victims of history. Decisions which the past Western governments agreed upon and today's governments ratify. Absolute nonsense. If that is world law, then I will be against world law forever. Always. The people of Palestine have a right to self-determination. The people of Palestine have a right to an independent state called Palestine. Look at what we have. We have a state of apartheid happening in Israel. It is apartheid. Nothing more, no less. Look at it. In South Africa, what did the white minority regime do to the blacks? They pushed them out of Johannesburg and created townships of Soweto. What has the Israeli government done? The Israeli government has chased out the Palestinian people. My friend, shut the fuck up when I'm talking. Let's get back to it.
Scary, you know?
The Israeli government chases off from the land of Israel, the so-called land of Israel, the Palestinian people, and establish camps on the West Bank, Gaza, Jenin, Jericho. This is apartheid. In South Africa, blacks had to carry permits. Blacks only occupied blue-collar, menial work. In Israel, the Arabs, the Palestinian Arabs, have to carry permits. They only occupy the rank and file of the blue-collar, menial workers of Israel. It is apartheid.
Members of Parliament.
And let's look at this apartheid. This is apartheid which is supported economically, spiritually, politically, and militarily by America. My friend, leave him alone.
$1 a year.
What we have is the standard average military issue weapon of the average Israeli soldier is the M16. Made where? In America. The Israeli government uses F-16 fighter jets. Made where? In America. Packed with missiles. The Israeli government has Apache helicopter gunships which they spray Palestinian communities with. The standard average Israeli soldier carries the M16. Made in America. The carries what? A stone. Made where? From the rubble of his bombed out home, which was bombed by F-16s made by fucking America. Let me say this. We are told that these Palestinians fighting for self-determination, fighting for liberty, freedom and justice, we are told when they kill themselves that they are suicide bombers, that they are terrorists. Let me tell you this, any man, woman or child who is willing to strap a bomb to himself and sacrifice their life for their family and their people's liberty is not a terrorist to me. That is a hero and a freedom fighter and a martyr. Hero and a martyr. A hero and a martyr. Take it down.
Good, boss, it's very sad.
Why is it sad? If the Jews, if there was one Jewish man that strapped a bomb to himself during the Second World War whilst the Holocaust was happening and ran into a German community and blew himself up, that Jew would be called a freedom fighter today, a liberator. When the French were fighting the German occupation, what were they called? Resistance. They weren't called terrorists. So the very same definitions should apply to the Palestinians. They are resistance fighters, fighting for freedom, liberty and justice. My friend, yes, come closer. One Prime Minister. No one. Is a fucking Russian.
I'll tell you what I'm saying.
No Russian, it's Moscow. It's Poland.
Shit, innit? What I'm saying.
Poland was a part of Russia pre-19.
Polish, yeah.
My friend, look at it. I have anyone, my friend, if that's the case, you tell me the name of one Prime Minister that was born in Israel. Why not? Stop talking rubbish.
Come on, talk what I'm saying.
Stop talking absolute nonsense. Are you Jewish? Yes. Right, now we can have a discussion. My friend, I don't mean to attack you because I believe that you believe in what you're saying. My friend, genealogically, before you what you're saying. My friend, genealogically, before you even get into politics, it is genealogically impossible. My friend, please, sit down. Before we even get into politics, let's discuss this fact. It is genealogically impossible for you to originate from the Middle East. Look at your skin. You are a Caucasian. Now let me tell you this. I'm so arrogant. My friend, please.
Yo.
I am arrogantly confident enough to say this. My friends, I bet you that you are from Eastern Europe somewhere. Where are your ancestors from? Where are they from? Where? Hold on, my friend. Where are your ancestors from? Where are your ancestors from?
Iraq, Caucasian, original Caucasian.
Absolute rubbish.
I never
My
fucking
friend,
see Iraqi like
the predominant number, and this is not in any way anti-Semitic or against Jews, but we look at it for what it is. We know. Tell me, my friend, do you believe that Israel is the promised land? No. Then why do you believe that Jews have the right to Israel? And Judaism, we must acknowledge, is a religion and not a race. Why do you have a right to Israel?
Why not? Why shouldn't I have a right to it?
Why shouldn't you have a right? Because you came from Europe. How do we know this? Because you converted in the 9th century. That's how we know.
From where?
Islam. From where? From Russia, Poland, Hungary. Let me explain.
Converted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Converted.
So you're saying there is no such thing as Jewish people until...
No, my friend, we have many Jews. We have the philosophers of Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I'm saying you converted to the faith, not started the faith. Let me be careful in what I'm saying, and let me explain. We had Islam spreading through Europe in the 7th century. Islam conquered a large tract of Europe. That's why, my friend, Islam reached the borders of Russia. In Serbia, Muslims, because the Muslims spread right through Europe. Then what we had was this. We had people caught between the conversion of Christianity and Islam. And you chose to opt out and selected the faith to unite your people. Now, my friend, imagine this. You say you're Jewish. In Russia, there are millions of Muslims. In Russia, there are millions of Jews. In fact, in Israel right now, 13.5% of the Israeli parliament is made up of Russian Jews. Could you imagine if those Russian Muslims claimed that they have the right to Saudi Arabia because they're Muslim and they started the faith? No, because those Russian Muslims acknowledge that they converted to Islam. So they hold no claims to Saudi Arabia. However, you with your arrogance and the Zionist movement did not build pace until the Second World War. You weren't even thinking about Palestine or Israel. You were thinking about how you were living in Russia, in Poland and Hungary. And you decided to have a land for yourselves because of the European persecution. And you arrived in Israel, not the promised land, as a refuge, a safe haven, because you are political and economic refugees. Refugees. Illegal fucking immigrants. What you need, my friend, is a visa. But you have no rights to Israel. My friend, where will you live? Madame, let me tell you this. Where are your ancestors from? Poland. That's right. How did I know? Somewhere in Europe. Go back home. The Polish are waiting to greet you. No, Muslims and Arabs of the Middle East don't want you. You have gone to their land. Go back to Poland and demand a part of Polish territory. The Poles murdered you. Your own people gassed you. Your own people tortured you. Auschwitz was in Poland. Your own people conspired against you. Do not take a part of Muslim
And the SS is Muslim
because they
volunteers in Bosnia.
Go back to Europe where you are from. If you don't like it, or the Polish people don't want you there, come to Jamaica where I'm from. But you have no right. What rights do you have? What rights? What rights do you have? Madame, come closer. What rights do you have when you use F-16
fucking anyone.
to terrorize
Anyone, you fucking anyone
What right?
Israeli. You know that? Baby,
Madame,
baby, you
Madame,
fucking anyone.
do not
But
allow
because
yourself-
Israeli, you can talk.
50 years ago, there was the Holocaust. A lot of people died in
A lot
Europe.
of people died in the Holocaust.
Poland. Yeah.
Okay, my friend, hold on, leave me alone.
You can't.
My friend, let's deal with your argument point by point.
Okay.
You said a lot of people died in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Where did the Holocaust take place?
Where or
Europe.
when?
Where?
Europe, yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
It was Europeans persecuting you.
Yeah.
If you deserve land, have a piece of Europe. Why do you need a piece of the Middle East?
You told us now to go to Poland
My
back.
friend, you said because of the Holocaust. The Europeans murdered you. The Europeans gassed you. The Europeans didn't like you.
Nazis,
Have
mate.
a piece of Europe.
Done it.
You've just said we have to come back to Poland, okay? How can we come back to Poland where they just
How can we go back to Poland? Because of what?
You know, after they persecuted us.
How can we go back to Poland after the persecution? Then why the fuck do you stay in Israel persecuting the Palestinians?
I'm a self-persecute no one. I myself persecute no one.
Look, what you are doing to the Palestinians right now, you have them in refugee camps. The
I'm
West
a
Bank,
self-
the
Wait a
West
second.
Bank, my friend, the
Wait a
West
second.
Bank is the most populated area on earth.
I'm a
The West
self.
Bank, you have a concentration.
I'm myself. I'm opposing that. I'm myself. I'm in the Peace Corps. I'm myself.
My friend,
I'm myself. I'm against that.
no problem. Let's go further.
Okay.
The United Nations
They're all
voted
Arabs.
under Resolution 242 in 1967, saying you should leave the occupied territories.
There was a war in
1967.
67, wasn't there?
Hold on, my
About
friend.
8 countries having a go. Do you remember?
1967,
About
the
50
United
million
Nations
Arabs.
enacted a resolution saying that you must give up those territories. Up to this very day, you still reside in those occupied territories, breaking UN resolutions. Where is America trying to enforce these fucking resolutions? Instead, we're talking about resolutions. You tell you why. The Oslo Accord. Yes.
Shut up.
My friend, please. Yes. Sorry? I didn't hear your point because I was interrupted by this man. 7 years, yes. 93, yes. A peace treaty. Now, my friend, because we know that in 1993 we had an intifada. Now look at it, all of my friend. There was a period of calm, all of my friend. Look, my friend, during that period of calm, the Israeli government had in its power to move out of the occupied territories, to stop building settlements. You had all that in your power. Instead, you did not. So what we had in 2000 was, because of the failure of those peace talks, a current intifada started in 2000. My friend, one foot at a time. You had no voice when you were by yourself. Now this man is here who has more information than you. Keep quiet. You are an intellectual midget. My friend,
Go on.
sorry?
Because
Man, back down.
didn't want the Israeli go away and set up.
Wanna go back to our land?
But my friend, no problem. My friend, what do the Palestinians want? What are the Palestinians fighting for? My friend, what are the Palestinians fighting for? What are the Palestinians fighting for? What are they fighting for? Freedom, justice, and liberty. Patrick Henry, my friend, in America, when the Americans were colonized by the British, what did Patrick Henry say? Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or death." That's exactly what the Palestinians are saying. Give us liberty or death. Give them liberty or death. My friend, now you, my friend, now we know from past discussions that you have no knowledge of Israel or the Middle East. You have no knowledge of politics. None. So what's the point of even discussing or debating with you? A man who had never had such a my friend, Israel is backed by America. Leave him alone. Tune of $3 billion a year. The Americans and the British provide F-16 fighter jets.
Why?
They provide Apache helicopter gunships armed with missiles. They provide M16 guns. And then they still have the audacity to call the Palestinians terrorists.
What about state terrorism?
What about that? How can you arm one set of people with F-16?
With nuclear weapons.
Apache helicopter gunships.
Nuclear weapons, yeah.
They're the fourth largest military in the world.
Hold up.
Not just the story. Come on, not just the story. Not just the story.
Now we have condemned Muslims, we have condemned the Jews enough. Look at it. Part of the problem lies with many of you Arabs.
Yes.
Many of you Arabs are responsible for the persecution of the people of Palestine. Why? Because you are dysfunctional and not united. And you have the power. You have the power, but not the will to decide the fate of the Palestinian people. Why do I say this? Why do I say this? Let him go first. My friend, thank you for your presence. Goodbye.
My welcome.
Goodbye. That's why Muslims say don't drink. You're on your way to ending up like a Christian. Look at it. Many of you Arabs are responsible for the plight of the Palestinian people.
Yes.
Why do I say this? In Jordan, we have King Abdullah giving all the sound bites. Yes, we want the free Palestine.
American thugs.
He's an American puppet. In Egypt, we have Mubarak, a puppet. Saudi Arabia, King
Four
Fahd.
American thugs.
The Saudi family of Kuwait. In Qatar, Ahmed bin Khalifa. Sound bites. Why? Let's go point by point. In Jordan,
70% of Jordan.
That means, that's right, you claim it. 70% of Jordan is Palestinian. That is why Jordan does not want a free Palestine. Because whoever controls Palestine, if Palestine is established as an independent free state, whoever controls Palestine is the de facto leader of Jordan. So Jordan's sovereignty is at stake.
Mr. Speaker.
My friends are annoyed with someone like Saddam Hussein. What do? They create an embargo. They impose sanctions. When they dislike Cuba, they impose sanctions. They create an embargo. In Libya, they have embargo. Sanctions. In Zimbabwe, they have sanctions. They have embargo. Hold on, my friend. In Angola, they have embargo. Sanctions. In Zimbabwe, they have sanctions. They have embargo. Hold on, my friend. In Angola, what we have is this. We have Europeans united in their war against Islam. And that is why it is easy to fight you Muslims. Now, if you Muslims decided, look, we are dependent on the energy resources. We are the energy source for America. We in Saudi Arabia, we in Qatar, we in Dubai, we in Iran, in Iraq, in Kuwait. We do not like the plight of our Palestinian brothers, and we want a solution today. So from 12 o'clock midnight tonight, no more oil. No more. We will chop up our pipes. And if the Arab world ceased giving the West oil, the West would crumble economically. The West is financially and economically dependent on Arab oil. But you Arabs are not using what is in your control and in your power. And that is why, let me tell you this, that is one of the reasons why America wants to get rid of Saddam. Let me explain. Saddam Hussein sits on the second largest oil reserves in the world. Now America right now is angry with Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia was not providing oil to America, when it was alleged, I say alleged because we have no evidence that Osama bin Laden or Al-Qaeda is responsible for September 11th. When this alleged attack happened on September 11th, the Americans would have attacked Saudi Arabia. 13 of the alleged terrorists came from Saudi Arabia. But the Americans recognized if they launch an attack against Saudi Arabia, we need oil. And they're not getting that from Iraq at the moment. So they buttered Saudi Arabia up, waged the war in Afghanistan, and they have these axes with Saudi Arabia, which they want to fuck all about. So now we can see it. And that's why I say to you Saudis and you Muslims, you must be united. Saddam today, Egypt tomorrow, Bahrain the day after, Iran after that, Saudi Arabia after that. Because once the Americans secure the Iraqi oil, it no longer necessarily needs Saudi Arabia. So it can enact any act of terrorism against the Saudi, whatever it wants to do. But right now it cannot. And you know they're agitated. The Western press has suppressed all information about the Saudis. With a beard and a mustache is Osama bin Laden. Or looks like Osama bin Laden. Look, there's Osama bin Laden right here.
We have a couple of them.
You bomb innocent people and get away with it.
What about Saddam? He gases on.
The people of the world have a right to self-defense. Right now, let me tell you this. The way the world is posturing against Saddam Hussein, any nation, if a nation said, we are going to attack you, America, what would America do? Attack first. So I am saying, with all this warmongering, which has been going around over the last few weeks, months actually, about waging war against Saddam, I am saying that Saddam Hussein is justified to launch an attack against the West, wherever it might be, whether it be England or America, in self-defense from his own national sovereignty. Because America has declared war. Saddam would be justified. Saddam Hussein is justified to attack Britain and to attack America. Because Americans and Britain have made clear their intention to attack him. What gives America the right to tell the world that we want a change of regime in Iraq? What gives the Americans the right to say we want a change of regime in Afghanistan? What gives America the right to say we want a change of regime in Slobodan Milosevic in Yugoslavia? What gives America the right to say we want a change of regime
What you are, America?
in Palestine?
What is your problem?
What gives America the right to say we want a change of
What you
regime
are?
in Zimbabwe? What gives America that right? What gives America that right to determine who should lead who? Now, I'm not a great fan of Saddam Hussein, but I'm saying let some people decide whether to be by the ballot or the vote.
Milosevic is gone.
They haven't been able. Now we get to an argument. Hold on. They haven't been able to. Why?
Because Saddam's a dictator.
Because, hold on. Please. We're told the people of Iraq have not been able to because Saddam is a dictator. What do you mean by that, Saddam? There's no other political parties in Iraq. Then hold on, my friend. There is this opposition party. No problem. We know the party. We know them, my friend. Hold on, no problem. We know the party's party will win. Tell me this, my friend.
Hey, you got that
If
picture
it
with
is
the
wrong
babies?
for Saddam Hussein to oppose other political parties, why is it not wrong when Saudi Arabia does the same fucking thing? Kuwait, Bahrain, Dubai,
America loves dictators like Tony Blair.
tell me, all my friends, we're talking about
Tony Blair loves
we're arguing about
dictators.
standards, not Iraq. When we talk about a country, my friend, please, hold on, my friend, please, my friend, Robert Mugabe, Robert Mugabe is nationalizing white farms. We have a situation in Zimbabwe whereby a white minority of 3,000 farmers control 73% of the most arable land. Could you imagine in England if one fucking Nigerian or Nigerian, my friend, please, my friend, Robert Mugabe, Robert Mugabe is nationalizing white farms. We have a situation in Zimbabwe whereby a white minority of 3,000 farmers control 73% of the most arable land. Could you imagine in England if one fucking Nigerian or Nigerian white people have taken black people's land by force, and it's about time. Look at it. Yes, this is fucking right. This is right. You love these They take our land by force, and we take it back by force. Yes. You take the land by the gun, and we will take it back by the fucking gun. Are we going to go? We can't even use the land. We can't even use the land. Thank you and goodbye.